Hello there. I just want to carry on talking about South Africa for a little while this morning. Um, and I want to really get across to a broad base of people inside and outside South Africa in terms of the situation. What I've picked up in the last week is a great deal of comment coming off social media from my YouTube channel in terms of things going on, comments which are very much to the left or very much to the right in terms of position, and really a predominant hatred of either one or the other coming across, which has always been there. And I know social media is always the best at bringing this out. It's proven so many times before. It sort of makes me think, well, I don't want to do any more of this. But then I think, well, you know, it's because the arguments aren't really me. It ends up where I've got people who visit my channel arguing with other people who visit my channel, and that's where the situation then goes. Look, in this I'm not taking any sides, as I've always said from the beginning. I'm not here to tell people how they should run or manage their country. I can only give my opinion and advise based on what I've seen and experienced, not just in South Africa, but in other countries of the world I've lived in as well over the last 40 years. And try and support where I can. You've seen the videos I made about people leaving South Africa. And look, it's been predominantly white people leaving South Africa, yes. But it's been black people as well. Black people have also been leaving South Africa because they can't handle the current status of affairs that are going on in South Africa. And that's why they've left. Now, why do people leave? They don't leave because they hate their homes. They leave because they see no future. They see no future for themselves and, very importantly, for their families that they're bringing up. And that's why people leave this situation and other situations that happen in other parts of the world as well. Why we have so many refugees in the world. But the situation for South Africa to resolve this is simple. In many respects, it's simple. I know everyone talks about South Africa being complicated, and we can make it as complicated as we like. But quite honestly, if everybody decided, well, we're going to stop this hatred for each other, those that have it, and we're going to get on with each other, and we're not going to try and get rid of people, and we're not going to be hostile, we're not going to take land and all this sort of, you know, the country can reform peacefully. The biggest problem in South Africa is the fact that majority of the population still live in poverty. And majority of the population that live in poverty are black people. So I can appreciate, I can understand that, why there's this undertone of leftish type thinking coming through and making life uncomfortable over there, and making these false promises to, yeah, let's take the white man's land and then the white man will go away and then everybody will be healthier, wealthier, better off, and it's as simple as that. Well, we know it's not as simple as that, and you know it doesn't work that way. But I think to have a barrier between both cultures is not helping, and we've got to appreciate both sides of the argument. I'm very much for the fact there is a white culture in South Africa that belongs there, that has been there for hundreds of years and is part of that country and should not be forced out, because it is part of that country. Now, history says, or some history says, they were there first. Others dispute it. I think trying to get into that argument is going to end up in failure, personally. There has to be a country built with everyone getting on in being part of it. I think it's already there. It's happened. There's been a process of democracy which has now got the situation where it is now. Now, democracy clearly isn't working at the moment. Politicians who are leading the country have not been delivering, hence why the poverty is still there. Now, how do we get poverty removed? Well, we get it removed by making sure everybody has those basic needs. Jobs, education for their children, roofs over their head, medical services that work, food. All these things are critical in a society to make it work and make it work effectively well. If all those needs are in place, then the level of animosity will reduce as well. But as long as there's a large majority of the population that are in this mode of poverty, there is going to be this leftish type of movement trying to incite more, let's call it violence, and there's going to be this. Now the government's got to get a grip of that, and they've got to get their hands on that very quickly. It's very, very easy to say, I've had enough of this, I'm leaving, I'm going to go to Australia, or I'm going to go to the UK, or I'm going to go to Canada. And those who can go generally go because they're thinking not of they're thinking more of their family and their future and their children and their grandchildren and everything else. And that's fact. People do emigrate to improve their lifestyles and to give their families better futures. You can't condemn them for that. We've all done it. I've done it. I can't say we've all done it. I've done it. And I've lived in various parts of the world for the experience as much as anything else as well. But, South Africa is not a small island or a small country. It is a vast country with colossal amounts of landmass. So it's not a densely populated community living on a very small island. It's got to learn to be multicultural, multiracial in every aspect and open its doors to all societies. It's the way the world is going. We can go back in history, like I've said before, and say what was wrong and try and find out who was originally responsible. But it doesn't help now. And the point is, it's about now, making it work. Commercially, South Africa can do an awful lot with the right people together working on it. Going down that left-wing communist route of a state-run country will not work in South Africa. I've been to countries that have been communist ruled for many, many years and have come through it and gone out. And you only have to talk to those people. You can do your research online. It does not work. To try and think, well, I can be like China. China's got significant problems. People aren't free in China to do exactly what they like. They're told where they work. They're told where they live. They're told what they can do and can't do in many respects. I don't think Africa wants to be that, personally. And I don't think any other country has so far. There's very few countries that have gone down that route. Well, none that have succeeded, quite honestly. There is as much poverty in those countries as anywhere else. And then you've lost that right to vote in that sort of society. You've lost those freedoms then for a long period of time. overcoming these tensions within the cultural society of South Africa are very critical. And I'm as critical of the right and their position, the white position, as I am the left-black position in many respects. That, the one argument and does not help the other, as you know, that just entices it further. But it's the government that have got to get this right. They've got to get this right. You know, otherwise you're saying, well, we can't, we haven't got an answer for for humanity. Humanity has failed. Humanity has failed. Now, I don't think that's true at all. And I think and social media hasn't helped in some of this. I can see, you know, having practically looked at this, I've thought carefully over the last couple of days, is this doing any good? You know, there's no point siding with one side or the other side. But the people that have got to make progress and make change and get that message out and get the confidence of the people, particularly the people in mass, on how the future is going is very important. And it's very easy to make idle promises and just say, well, yes, you are all poor, you are all starving, and it's because of the white man. And therefore, we're going to take the land from the white man. Simple answer. No, it's not a simple answer. You know, it'll take South Africa back hundreds of years if that happens, and people will be poor for very much longer. And people that have the abilities, that have the aptitude, that have the education, that have all the skills, will leave. I think that will be a sad case. Okay, talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.